Hi guys, today what I'm going to do is give you a demonstration about TradeUp. It's our software app that we have for trade construction companies with a focus on measuring productivity and digitizing workflows in the workplace. The app family is a concept that we've been working on for a couple of years now. What we're aiming to do is provide some amazing apps for subcontractors to help them monitor the risk within their business and to manage that. And then we're also going to help those subcontractors by taking some data and feeding it to the builder or the project that they're working on to help streamline the construction program and the contract administration of that project from a subcontractor's perspective. So why did we have TradeUp to start with? It was originally founded by Trent O'Sullivan, and his goal here was actually to set goals for his team and to motivate them and to help them recognize the achievements that they'd made to improve morale in the team and to motivate them. And we know that setting goals for people is what helps people monitor and improve their own performance. We also wanted to improve the reporting that had been done in the construction industry historically, especially for subcontractors, given that there's a lot of delay in payments and claims and even invoices coming in from suppliers. Having that reporting done on a financial basis for P&Ls is often too late, and we can't actually change the outcome of a project when we're reviewing it in past time. We also want to give you guys the tools to plan so that you can collect a data pool for yourself to be able to plan jobs in the future in terms of labour costing, productivity times, the builders that are great to work for and the ones that aren't so fabulous. This tool actually allows you to collect data and to make decisions about that based on facts and figures. So as I said, our founder is Trent O'Sullivan, and he had an objective to provide efficiency gains that are really easy to implement and manage within a team. And owning a subcontractor business, he realised that the apps that we created for subcontractors to use on site, so that it didn't add to the complexities that is already there in their day, we needed to make sure that our apps are as easy to use as Facebook. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go through and show you what we do with TradeUp, what the concept of the tool is, why we do it, how we do it, and what results we want you to achieve from it. So the first thing we need to do when we're going to track anything is to set it up. And so that's what we need to do with our projects in TradeUp. And it's a fairly easy concept that we've designed here of how to do this. So when we're setting up a project, we need to choose what our primary metric is, how we're going to be tracking the job. And for most trades, that's really obvious. For bricklayers, for example, it's usually metered squared. For a concreter, it's usually cubic meters. For a form worker, in this example here, again, it's metered squared. And so what we do when we're setting up the project here is we come along and we choose each line item. So for example, here we've got, for a form worker, one of the materials that needs to be installed or the task that needs to be done is with this plywood, which is 16 millimeters. And for this section of the job, we need to install 2,000 square meters of it. And we've known from our previous data, or we've got some productivity guides for you, that each person can potentially, or we want them to have a goal of installing 23 meters squared per man per day on site of this material. And so what we know now is that this line item is actually going to take 87 effort days to complete on the project. Now, we know that an effort day, or we call an effort day 8 hours in our system. It's usually what people will work in the day. And we know that the amount of guys that we have on site dictates the amount of effort days that we can achieve in a day. So if we have 10 guys on site, then we will have achieved 10 effort days. If we just had one guy on site, then we've achieved 1 effort days. And it would take that one guy 87 days to just install this 16 millimeter plywood. So once we've gone down and we've put in all of our line items here, all of the quantities, how much of that quantity the person can install per man per day. And then we tally all of that up, and that's going to give us the amount of days that this project is going to take in total. Now, we have a tool within TradeUp so that we can calculate what your break-even employment rate is to pop a guy on site each day. but you guys probably already have a break-even employment rate or a charge-out rate that you have for your guys on site, and it might be something around $500 a day to put a tradesman on site for the day. And so to match the setup of this job to your labour budget, what we want to do is know how many days in total have we calculated it's going to take the job, times that by your cost to put a person on site each day, and that's what your labour budget should be for that project. So once we've set up the job, and it's really as quick and easy as what I just explained there, once you have your bill of quantities and you know what your productivity rates are for each material, it's as easy as just entering each line item there. And now what we get is what we call our project dashboard. And here's where we've actually set the goals for the guys that are on site. So they can see this on their iPad on site or on a computer or a phone, but it's basically a dashboard for their job. And what we're telling them here is that the target for their project is for each person on site to install 10 metres squared per man per day of this product. Now, this example here is block work, like masonry. So we're telling the guys here we need them to install 10 metres squared or 10.06 metres squared of block work per man on site per day. Now, on this job, when they've been entering in the data, what they've actually been achieving is 7.89 metres squared per man per day. So you can see that's significantly less than what we wanted them to achieve. And knowing this as the job's going along gives us the opportunity to have a really good look at what we might be able to do to change the results that we're getting here. Down here, it shows us what percentage complete the project is. So this is telling us that the guys have installed 79% of the materials that they needed to on site, but they've used 93% of the labour that they were allocated. So the tally up of those days on the previous screen was 875 effort days in total they had to complete this project. And in fact, they've already used 818 days, which is 93%, but they've only completed 79% of the project. Now, a few things could have happened here. They may have actually done a variation and forgot to section it out. There may have been a massive delay on site that we didn't know about that was going to happen. And we have some other tools in the product that allow us to section out that time that's been happening so that you guys are able to see what's been going on. So, for example, on our timesheets, we section out inclement weather, we section out site delays, variations, and some of these things that we've noted and taken the data on could be what's affected the productivity rate on this job. So how do we collect this data? How are we actually giving you the data every single day to tell you what's happening on site? And the first thing, we know if we want to calculate productivity, the first thing we need to do is find out how much time have we used to do what it is that we want to do. So we have some timesheets in our system. They're not just normal timesheets. They're actually construction specific, and they're designed to help you separate out what it is the time was actually spent on your projects. So the way these work is the guys come in, they have a list of employees here that's pre-populated from the day before for that site. Default timesheet time, so that if it's just exactly what it says there, the chap can just press save and it just saves it in. But if he needs to come in here and adjust it a little bit out, like for example, Danny Green here, who looks like he's a casual because he's on leave without pay, was away today. And we also had Hans Gruber here had a site delay. I think what happened is he came down to site, but there was an incident the other day. So he spent the whole day today in the office with the union talking to them about that. So we've taken out his 8.5 hours as well. So what we can see here is in total this week, what we're going to be doing, or for this day, is our payroll consists of 40 standard hours. But because Hans actually wasn't on site productively working during that time, we're going to take his hours out, and now what we come down to is the total productive hours in the day. And that's what we really need to know to make our reporting really, really accurate there. So we've sectioned out those timesheets, and just as a side note, what we actually know from our research is for businesses that are doing timesheets via paper method or sending in via text or loads of other methods that we've talked to people about which have been effective for them in the past, transitioning the timesheets to a to digital actually can save an hour per week per 10 people in your team. So if you've got 30 team members, that's 3 hours per week that we can be saving our payroll person just by doing that. And just alone, that's a saving of $6,200 a year from not having to pay that payroll lady, and also saving her sanity as well. With our timesheets, we're able to download them into a spreadsheet so that at the end of the week, they can be checked off to be correct and then potentially uploaded directly into your payroll system. So we've also got a mobile app so that when the guys are collecting timesheets, there's a really easy data entry point for them to use on site. The mobile app actually works, it has offline capability, and it actually just works as a tick and flick option for the guys to come in and enter the timesheet data with the same tools to separate out exactly what it is the guys have been doing on site. So once we've collected the amount of time that it's taken, now we need to allocate that time to tasks that they've been doing. So what we do is we pop into the next screen in our app, and it gives us the opportunity on this table or on the mobile app in that data entry fashion, where we can actually just come in and allocate what it is that we were doing in this day. So today, the guys had that 32.5 hours that they needed to allocate. And so what we did is we went down here and said that they installed 25 metres squared of face brick on block D, and they used 100% of the time there. Now, if they had have been working there before lunch, and then after lunch they popped over to block C, we could have put that they'd installed 15 metres squared here and 10 metres squared here and done 50-50 on the time, or whatever breakup we needed to do so that we know where the guys spent their time on site. And what we get from that is some numbers, some facts and figures there telling us in each area what we needed to install to start with, how much time we had to do it, what we have done and how much time we've taken to do it, and now what we have remaining in each area. And we can also click this toggle here to visualize that out into a graph for the guys. Now this gives the guys a running total and an opportunity to put focus for the team where it needs to be on the job. Now, once we've got those results, facts and figures there in terms of how long things took us and what we did during that time, we also know that we need context with that. And context often comes with communication. So here what we've got is a site diary where an electronic site diary, where the guys can come in and they can put notes there, they can put points of progress, they can attach documents, toolbox meetings, site instructions, variation instructions, evidence of progress. We have little boxes in there so that you guys can prompt what you want them to write them with the headings there. And this communication tool can be downloaded into an Excel spreadsheet so that you can take it to meetings, you can file it away with the job, or in fact, inside TradeUp, that site diary is filed with the job forever. We also have other little handy things in here for you to document the progress, things like a hire docket. So if the guys are doing variations or day labour or just need to get their work signed off on site, our hire docket on the iPad can be filled out and then signed with a finger on a touch screen. Great. So now that we've collected that data, which as you can see is pretty simple and easy to do, what we want you guys to be able to do with that is to report and to plan. And so we're going to give you guys graphs that show your productivity results for that project, but we're also going to break it down so that you guys can see the productivity results per material, per section of the job, between specific date ranges. We want you to be able to really target down and see exactly what's costing you money and exactly what's making you money. We can also use this data when we're tendering the next job. If we thought our productivity rate for a specific material was something, but actually we go back and review and it's something else, now we know what we need to use to tender that next job. We also have a company productivity graph, which is where we combine the productivity and progress results for all of the jobs that you've been working on in the last 4 weeks. And we actually give it to you as a combined graph. Now, I told somebody the other day, this is actually the equivalent of separating out your P&Ls per project, or then actually at the end, having a look at what it looks like, your P&L from a whole company perspective, because we know that you guys often can have even 15 to 20 jobs going at any one time. And while we're giving you fabulous oversight of them individually, we want to also tell you what this means for your company collectively. So what do we think that we can save you, I wonder? Now, we went through a few of these, and I just want to show you down here. For a company size of 30 people, we actually think that, as I said to you, replacing the timesheets with collecting them in a digitized way like we do on TradeUp, we can actually save you an hour for every 10 employees you have. And we believe that the payroll person is potentially costing you $40 an hour. So that's a saving of $6,000 a year, pretty much. We also know from our research that just reporting on productivity, tracking what the guys can do, can improve your results from anywhere from 2 to 5% over a 6-month period. We know that the bigger the gang size, the more improvement that we can expect. And with a group of 30 people, we can expect an improvement of around 3%. Now, based on a break-even employment rate, or a cost of employment rate for you guys at $65 per hour per person, with just 30 guys, if you can actually increase your productivity by 3% over the year, you are actually going to save $121,000, which is just crazy. The site diary that we feel like that we can reduce time communicating issues by phone or email and not having to bring documents to the office, you can potentially save 2.5 hours for every 10 employees that you have in a week. And that's another saving of $23,000 a year. And claims, as we're already collecting the progress data for you guys day by day, so it takes out all of that estimating work at the end of the month to submit your claims. We think we can save you another quarter of an hour per week for every 10 employees you have, which is another $780 savings in the year that we can do for you. So all up, we think that we could potentially cause efficiency gains or savings with a value of at least $150,000 for a team of 30 people. And the subscription for the year is $3,600 for our software. It actually seems like a no-brainer to implement something like this, to digitize your systems and allow you to actually track these efficiencies. At TradeUp, we've got 12-hour support every day, phone, email, online chat. We've got an amazing knowledge base, and we also have something called TradeUp TV, where you can log on and see the videos of how to do and use all of these features. You can even text it over to your guys so that they can have a look at it as well. And we, of course, offer on-site training, especially for teams over 20 people. We're more than happy to come out, meet with your foremans, meet with your office people, meet with your estimator, and really make sure that you guys are getting the most that you can out of the system. Okay, thanks for that.